All right. Day 25, 75 hard. Feeling great day after the colonoscopy. And was thinking about what I want to talk about today to the one person that will see this probably is nutrition on Crohn's disease and how it can completely reshape the way that you feel and make you really rethink the medicine that you might be on to take care of it. So for me, when I was 19 years old, I had what was called a terminal ileum resection. And after that, I was put on Remicade infusions at the cancer center here in San Diego. And that was every 6 weeks. So every 6 weeks, I would get a Remicade infusion. I would sit there for whatever it was, 4 or 5 hours, sometimes more, and get the infusions because I was told that Crohn's disease had no cure, that I am screwed rest of my life. You're going to deal with this, and it's the only way to keep the ulcers and the obstructions and the fatigue and the malabsorption. It's the only way to keep it away. So I would do that. And I would do also iron infusions every so often, depending on how my blood work went. And so I did that. I did that for 6 years. And my body started developing antibodies to the Remicade. And I started showing symptoms, really bad symptoms again. And I didn't really know where to turn. I mean, they were going to try to have me on Stelara, do injections, and I tried the Stelara for I think a couple weeks, and I felt so bad. I felt terrible. And it was at that point where I said, you know what? I mean, it's hard to say, but I'm going to be honest with whoever sees this. I said I would rather die than feel like absolute shit every day, and I can't live like this. I felt like my childhood, not my childhood, but like my youth was being just robbed and stripped away from me. And I just made a stand, and I started doing my own research on, you know, people who have maybe gotten off medicine and just by eating. I'm like, I will eat one food for every meal for the rest of my life if it means I don't have to be sick all the time and dealing with these side effects all the time. I'm tired of it. And so the first thing I found, which it was kind of popular at that time, this is roughly 2019, was the carnivore diet. And I said, okay, what do I have to lose? You know, you said you'd rather die than be on the medicine. So let's see what it's all about. And so basically, I started that. I started with what I thought was going to be best. I started with higher fat cuts of meat. So, you know, your ribeyes, your truck roasts, 80-20 ground beef with eggs. And I tried that for a little while, and what I did notice was I didn't have stomach aches. I didn't have the stabbing pain after I would eat. So I'm like, okay, this is good. I can actually eat something without being doubled over in pain. But what ended up happening was I didn't feel all that great still. And after doing that for a little bit of time, I really didn't eat a lot of vegetables. I had some carbohydrates in the form of white rice. I didn't really have bread, and I was getting by. I was getting by just fine, but the bowel movements weren't very great. And I was going a lot, and I was still dealing with, Crohn's related issues. I still had some fatigue. I still had anal fissure. That was extra. For those of you who have had one, they're pretty painful, and they don't like to leave too easily. They like to hold on for dear life and just become part of you. Like, They almost want to be like one of those fish that you see swimming along with the sharks. Like, you just can't shake this thing no matter what you do. It's always just with you. Damn, my arm's getting tired. I gotta get something to hold my phone. But what I ended up finding very recently that has really helped me narrow down on the way that works for me to eat is choosing lean cuts of meat, prioritizing protein. And by prioritize, I mean that if I don't eat anything else in the day, I at least get roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for me, I'm 175 pounds. Wasn't always that way. You know, I think I graduated high school at 135 pounds, and then on the medicine where I was numbed to everything, I blew up to like 205 pounds. But I've settled in 175 pounds. And my diet consists of drinking a lot of water. It consists of adding electrolytes to my water, not being afraid of sodium. Getting, like I said, a gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I try to get roughly between 150 and 200 grams of protein a day. And I do that through lean sources of meat. So it is New York strip, 93.7 ground beef, sometimes 97.3. It's not always that great because of how lean it is. It could get pretty dry. Let's see, what else do I top sirloins done right, you can have great success with that. They taste great. What else? Sorry about all the but I'm free airing. This is just off the top of my head. There's no plot or plan or editing. What you see is what you get. This is what I'm doing. I doubt anyone's gonna see this anyways. But okay, so we have your top sirloin, ground beef. I have chicken. I added chicken recently. I'm not a big chicken breast person, but the chicken thighs I have. I also do ground turkey. Not a lot of it, just because the taste is kind of rubbery to me. And basically all my protein comes from animal sources. As far as what I cook them in, I use only a handful of things. I use either cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, or I will use ghee. I'll use regular grass-fed butter, or I will use some sort of tallow. Now you can mess with these how you want, because you know you still can put on extra weight because of you know, fat has a lot of calories, but weight wasn't my concern. It was not feeling like crap all the time and being able to get off medicine. So that, and so now vegetables will be a, you know, person by person basis, because at first I couldn't tolerate asparagus, salads, broccoli, cauliflower, all of that. I couldn't tolerate any of it. But giving it a break, prioritizing protein, drinking water, staying hydrated, really allowed my gut to heal. And now I really don't have problems with many vegetables. So I do have vegetables now. I have vegetables. I prioritize having high fiber with my vegetables. So we're looking high protein, moderate fat, high fiber, nutrient dense, whole foods for roughly 90% of my meals. And I found that in doing so, it gives me some sort of leniency. And if I want to have you know, something kind of off the main frame of whole foods. But for the most part, when you start diving into eating this way and not being afraid of food, not counting your damn calories, not weighing out your food, none of that, just getting the most nutrient dense foods, you know, a couple times a day when you can, when you're able to eat, and making sure that they're in your meals. And if you do that, it'll solve, 90% of your problems. But you have to be consistent with it, and you have to want the result more than the temporary satisfaction of being like everybody else. Because this is a journey that, people can do it with you, but you have to do it alone. You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, rain or shine, it's me and me only, and I'm gonna do this. And you can't let other people change your opinion, and you got to stick to it. But I will have more videos to come on this soon, and I will dive into it as deeply as possible, but I don't want to overload anyone with too much information if anyone sees this. But I have managed to not have any medicine in my body for almost 5 years now. And I got a colonoscopy yesterday to prove it. It's working. And not a lot of people talk about this, but you can change, and you should try. You should do your best. Yeah, see you guys later.